hope this works this time. There we go. So there seems to be some sort of a connection issue this morning. I don't know if that's a function of today's date or if that is a function of I wasn't meant to do live on Sassy C or Sheila. Okay, so now we'll try this again. I switched over to, yep, there we go. Oh, isn't that interesting? Good morning, everyone. My name is Sheila Corona. And if you are seeing this live, you are watching on New Light Streaming Love. If you happened, I tried to do it live on Sassy C or Sheila, and it would never come up so that I could see it live. I had Lisa looking for it. She couldn't see it live. After I stopped the live, it showed up. And I couldn't, and so I tried to get it to start again, and it would not start live on Sassy C or Sheila. It would only go live on New Light Streaming Love. So the only thing I can figure, well, thank you, Mark. The only thing I can figure is that for whatever the reason, I was not meant to stream live on Sassy C or Sheila because it immediately started over here. That was so weird. So if you are watching this live, you're watching it on New Light Streaming Love. If you're seeing the recording, yes, it is recording, you are watching it on Sassy C or Sheila, and you will see that I tried to start it live on Sassy C or Sheila, but for whatever the reason, it was not happening. It would not let me do it. Which is so weird because if I can't find it, that's one thing. But then I had my housemate looking for it, and she couldn't find it either. She went to the channel. I went to the channel, and it wasn't showing up until after I stopped the live. So that was very odd. So at any rate, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April the 1st, 2025. And it's just been an eventful couple of days for me in some ways and totally uneventful in other ways. So I really wanted to do a live intuitive hangout session. I still want to do that. I just, it's been every single time I start, there's something that keeps it from happening. So I'm just, again, I'm going to, right, because I'm live here, Mark. Mark said you responded in real time. So I'm just going to go with it because obviously, like I said, for whatever the reason, whatever happened this morning, rather than get, head up about it, I just feel like I wasn't meant to do it live on Sassy C or Sheila. I was meant to do it live here on New Light Streaming Love. And it will be uploaded over there afterwards. So I highly recommend that you are subscribed in both places if you like catching me live. But again, this, I do not monetize what I'm involved in. And so it really makes no difference other than your personal preference. Because I do feel with all of me that if you find any of the videos, not just the readings, the conscious conversations, the book club, if that's something that draws you. It's because you're drawn for a reason. And I won't know necessarily what that is. You may not know necessarily what it is at first, but it will be eventually revealed, or at least that's been my experience so far for myself. Um, I'm convinced with everything that I've experienced again so far, that as long as one follows their nudges, as long as one moves towards what brings them joy, what draws them, uh, questions one has about things will be revealed, because that's been my experience. And everybody's experience will be completely different. It's meant to be completely different and unique. Um, what I've discovered for myself is that nobody's wrong in their interpretation of things. It may not be for me the way somebody has interpreted something. Um, and I may not buy into their interpretation, but I don't expect to, because again, each of us have been through an entire lifetime of experiences that color every single thing that we think, move through. And so our interpretations of language, experiences, and everything else will be totally unique to us. So to expect, and see, this is what I have found for myself. And I know that a lot of folks don't believe this. Um, but so far, I've been shown that we create our own reality, which is part of that whole entire thing about being unique. So, of course, mine is going to look, feel, taste differently than yours. It's meant to be. That's the whole point of creation expressing itself through this vessel, is to have a completely different experience. And as such, there is, for me, I've discovered no one truth about things. My truth is going to, again, look, feel very different from your truth. It has to be that way because you haven't experienced what I've experienced, and I haven't experienced what you've experienced. So those of us who tend to wrap our arms around things and say, oh, well, that's not right. It has to be this way. Consider for yourself that, of course, it has to be that way for you because you've experienced everything you've experienced up to that moment. That doesn't mean it's the truth. Again, I'm open to being shown the truth, but so far, what I keep being shown is there isn't one the truth. No. And hey, like I said, I'm open. I'm open, but I continually, it doesn't matter how many conscious conversations I've exposed myself to. I keep coming back to that. And it has to do with, again, the fact that everything a person moves through in their life colors how they think, how they feel, how things are interpreted. I am also convinced that's why I had that experience, of my own interpretation. Okay, so we got quite the reading going on here. Let's take a look. Ooh, yeah, here we go. Oh my gosh, this is too good. Surrender your attachment to results. I can see exactly how what I was just speaking to it is exactly that, right? The formula for success is to do all you can to, quote, make things happen, then let go of the results. Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome can sabotage it. Well, and it's my results. And my results are going to look and taste and feel completely different. Wow. Okay. I love it when I don't pay attention to what's happening down here. So uh, I was interested to learn that the sacred geometry activations wanted to come out again this morning because it generally doesn't come out in the daily collective reads, but it definitely wanted to today. And card number 29, which is an 11 numerologically, um, wanted to come out healing. The frequency of healing supports our intrinsic ability to restore our health and wholeness by consciously using the information that comes to us through our senses and harmonizing everything accordingly. Well, I'm being shown right now that if I was to hold that there was only one way to do things, I could see where that would uh, absolutely not harmonize everything accordingly for me. Healing literally means to, quote, make whole. It refers to the process of restoring health to something or someone that is unbalanced, diseased, or damaged. For us to reach or maintain a state of health and wholeness, we need to balance all aspects of ourselves. Our physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional bodies have to harmoniously work together. And this requires clear communication and awareness of all the information that our sensory system is providing us. So far, we have recognized sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch as the five senses that provide this feedback. In the new energy, we are invited to add our intuitive perceptions as the sixth, which complements this profound and essential feedback system well. I think that everybody tends to um, feel things. And because of, well, I'll just stick to here for my own self, my heretofore previously programmed, conditioned way of thinking, I would poo poo a lot of things that would come to my intuition because, who am I? I didn't go to medical school. What do I know? Kind of idea, right? And yet, I'm the only one that inhabits this vessel, right? The color green dominates this activation as it is associated with health, most likely because in nature, green indicates growth, fertility, and life. When in springtime, we see the first, it's very interesting as I'm reading this, I'm being made aware that I think it was the very last time or the time before that I was guided to pull this out. This card came out then as well. In springtime, we see the first greenish glow return on the branches of the trees. We know that a new growth cycle has started, a clear indication of the continuance of life. Green also offers to refers to a heart that is open to truth, compassion, and love. The purple, violet, and pink indicate our intuitive abilities, which are anchored in a strong connection to source and self. The 12 glowing flowers refer to life and the healthy growth that emerges from an effective healing process. In numerology, the number 12 is considered a three, a catalytic number, indicating that all aspects of ourselves can harmonize together to support our natural, radiant, healthy state. For some reason, I'm just now getting to that because I've always felt that 12, the 12 apostles in Christ, right? And knowing that 12 numerologically does indicate a three, which is the Trinity. And I've been exposed to my housemate, Lisa Flamino Rush's uh, guidance, her internal guidance, that Christ knew himself on all 12 dimensions of self. I don't know, there's something there about that. Very interesting. Okay, so who's next? What are we going with next? Well, two cards came out from the fairies, and very interesting to me that one is the death card. Again, this is very interesting to me because Spirit Dancer also came out. Numerologically, and it opened right up to death when I opened the book. Wow. Okay. I was going to ask which one wanted to be read first, and I guess I were told exactly which one. The key words here for this are natural, timely endings, release, liberation. Scary, huh? Before you panic, let's remember that if it were not for death and her hard work, we would all be up to our ears in alligators, mayflies, each other, and just about everything else. Without her to clear the world, there would be no room for growth or new life. This applies to all the realms: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and other. Not to mention the fact that, at least for me, I've been shown over and over again that we've been programmed and conditioned to hold death as something to be feared and the end and all these, sorts of things. And I don't feel that way. I did. Trust me, when I went in for my first surgery in 1993, well, I had a cesarean birth, and that doesn't count because you don't have time to be thinking about that. But when I had to have my gallbladder out, and I went in for that surgery, I was terrified that I wasn't coming out. I had a small child. I was very overweight. The whole thing, was just a terrifying experience. Um, but I now I've had lots of other experiences, including a near death experience. So I just don't feel that way anymore. I now see for myself where it is simply another transition from one state of being to another. And we're actually taught to fear death. I feel that with all of me. The death card in all oracles, fairy, tarot, and other, does not usually signify actual physical death. In fact, that is rarely the meaning. Rather, it indicates a significant change, one that involves letting go of the old life in order to move forward. Now, this is something that I keep being told and shown over and over and over in the last few weeks here, and it's come up several times in the collective as well. And it's in all the astrology that's been coming up as well. And we have to be able, I am being shown over and over again where old programmed conditions within me must be put down. in order to move into whatever it is that is coming for me personally. And I would say for all of us. Um, Rather, it indicates significant change, one that involves letting go of the old life in order to move forward into the new. What we really fear about death is the unknown, the what next of it all. We may be experiencing great pain as a result of holding on to aspects of life that we have outgrown, but humans tend to hold on anyway because we don't know what is next. You know, that's that old saying, better the devil you know than the devil you don't, kind of thing. Right? I don't know why that has been a thing, but I guess that's it right there, isn't it? We want guarantees, and instead we get open doors into unknown, darkened spaces. Yet, when we go through these doors, closing them behind us, we discover a whole new world, one in which we can grow and develop into more of what we have the potential of being. So here we see Death, her face hidden, without form, holding a dark crystal ball. She herself cannot see the future. Something has reached a natural ending, and there is substantial and irrevocable change in the works. I do feel that with all of me, I have to say. And I am beginning to be shown some of what that may be for me. This change may be inner or outer, or most likely both. It is timely and natural, but there may be much resistance to it. Leaves fall every autumn. In the spring, the trees are green again with new leaves. Make room for the new in your life. Let the old go lovingly, gently, and willingly. And the numerology on this card is, because it's card number 53, makes it an 8. And for me, like I've said many times, it's not just manifestation, because that is the, I guess, the official, um, explanation of the 8. But for me personally, to use the terminology of the sacred geometry activations in the new energy, I feel as though it's also about materialization, which as as the old programmed conditions are put down for me, I feel we, as the whole human race, will be moving into the ability to materialize things. Again, that's just my thoughts and feelings behind it. Okay, so the next fairy card that came out, because there were two, is Spirit Dancer. And it makes perfect sense that Death wanted to go before this one, because the key words here are self-expression, freedom, and exploration. And this cannot occur within me, within you, within any of us that are still holding on to the old ways of being, the old ways of thinking. Um, and so all of that has to be put down to make room for the ability to explore. Even the astrology, right? With, if you haven't had a chance to take a listen to the video that I recorded from Astro Butterfly about the movement of Neptune, this is the, that's something that hasn't happened in 165 years. What's happening now with Neptune, and the fact that it's changing from one way of being to another that has to do with sovereignty. There's a lot of freedom in that. There's a lot of exploration and room for self-expression if it is if we allow ourselves, right? The spirit dancer understands both sides of self-expression. In the first stage, We get our inner vision, feelings, and creative impulse out into the world through our art, whatever that is. Then our expressions are reflected back to us from the mirror of other people's perceptions, and we discover what our art awakens in them. And again, being the vessel through which divinity seeks to express itself in myriads of ways, because that's what I feel I hold it that we each of us are, right? First and foremost, important for us, for many of us, we learn, grow, and lead more satisfying lives if we have ways of expressing our inner world. Such expressions can be a way of helping ourselves better understand our feelings and experiences, or they can be a way of getting pain out where we can look at it and let it begin to heal. And I personally, I see a lot of that goes on. We have to spill our guts out onto the table so that we can see it, because and I know I've done this quite a lot. I wasn't willing to see it and or look at it in any sort of way. So it's got to be expressed in some way so that I can see it. And so, I see that all over the joint. Creative expression is a method of exploring our own truth, bringing it into the light so that we can see it more clearly and maintain our sanity. The key words here are explore, experiment, and express. As this fairy cryptically remarked to one oracle reader, the death of spirit dancer is perfection. I used to call myself a perfectionist, and to some degree, I do still do that, and I'm actively working at just allowing that to pass, whether I feel it's, perfect or not. Second, creative expression is a way of sharing and letting others see more of our true selves. It is a way that we can reach out from this illusion of separation and reaffirm our essential connections with one another. When we share a dance, a painting, or a poem with others, we do so with the hope that they will see something of what we have put into it and that their experience will echo ours in some way. But if we have done well, we will be able to add something to their experience. At the same time, we understand that their slant on things is a bit different, and that what they reflect back to us by their response will perhaps contain something we hadn't seen about our own experience, which is, in my view, the entire point of our being here. A new insight, a different view, an expansion of our picture of reality. So this side of creative expression, the sharing part, enriches us in a different way than the actual creation. I have never written a poem or sculpted something about without the experience changing me and then changing me again when I shared it with others. This is something I've heard many others say, including many who do not consider themselves real artists or real writers. Spirit Dancer encourages us to take creative action from our place of personal power, the inner core of true feelings and understanding within us. She wants us to clarify our vision, find the creative potential that lies hidden in paradox, confusion, and chaos, and turn these into a free flowing, finely balanced, evolving order. She wants to aid us in making our best fantasies real. She also is very enthusiastic about helping us to learn to dance well with the fairies if we don't already know how. And if we do know how, she would be delighted to dance with us just for the fun of it. Step out boldly. Now is the time to focus and really concentrate on a project or process, especially one involving the creative arts. Spontaneity balanced by self discipline will help us achieve our goals. Strive for elegance and simplicity. This is a time to bring out and share qualities that we have nurtured in private. Well, I love this part because I haven't set up our craft room here in the new place yet, but I and again I I hesitate to call myself an artist when my mother was a professional artist, right? And I have none of those qualities. However, I love to color. And well, of course, I crochet the little animals that I make and whatnot. But who wants to be? Oh, okay. The Alchemy Elementals wants to go next. And, but I adore doing the painting. And and in that exploration of painting, um, it has come out in many ways as a channeling of sorts. And in any of you that were following me uh, through Conscious Conversation Central and or Corona Rising will know that I was experimenting for a time with feeling into a being and then drawing what I was feeling. And I would like to bring that back once I get the craft room set up. But of course, unfortunately for me, that does involve shipping and being on a limited income. The only way I can do that is to offer my gift in exchange for at least the shipping so that I don't have to pay shipping. I've bought materials when I had the money to buy it. So I have the materials and I don't want to be, I don't, because again, this is not about making money for me. It's about discovering my own self and being able to gift someone else something, right? So, when I bring that back, um, well, and I've got to do this, so I got to put that on the list of things to do. It, they're not huge. I found Dollar Tree sells little packages of those canvas boards, and so as I had the money, I would buy blank ones, and so I have all of that stuff, and so all it would be is like I don't know, couldn't be more than $5, I wouldn't think, to mail a little small canvas board even to the other side of the country. So I'll be looking into that, and that's coming down the pike. And if you find that you would like to engage in that with me, you'll have to let me know, and we'll set up a time to do that where I can feel into you and just draw and paint and color what I'm feeling. And then I would also, just record what's coming to me. I think that's a fun way for me to be able to, again, feel into me, get to know my own abilities, and gift something to someone else where it's not costing any of us an arm and a leg to do that, because that's not what it's about for me. Okay, so the alchemy elementals we pulled was land, cave, earth. That was card number 86. Ooh, interesting. It's also, didn't we just have that? Okay, this feels very much like it's card number 68, but it's also 86 in the book. This feels very similar to, if anybody recalls or feels up to going and checking it out. I think that we just had this card, and now I'm wondering, maybe I'll have to go and look it up. I'm wondering if it was the same day as the Spirit Dancer and the Healing card. Is this a repeat? Okay, so because there's something else too that's been coming up, and I was hoping to be able to have a conscious conversation about this with Crystal Hemphill. Um, I've noticed, I think I've been in a timeline jump again because I'm pretty sure I'm in a different body. There's like different little tells that I've noticed over these periods of time. And so I'm hoping to be able to do that. So this is kind of interesting that this come up just like this. I'm gonna have to go back now. Now I'm curious. I gotta see if that is the case. If this is an entire repeat or very close to it. Okay, so, and if you already know, please comment. If you recall, if you saw that reading and you know we had this card before, please put it in the comments if you're watching live on New Light Streaming Love, or if you're seeing this as a recording on Sassy Seer Sheila later. So it says, while you hold great riches within the depths of your being, these gifts will wither and decay if you continue to hide them and keep yourself in isolation. I feel like that's referring very specifically to the live intuitive hangout sessions now, is what I'm feeling behind that, because I've allowed myself to not be here because of feeling tired. So yeah, no, this has to, something has to break with that. So that's very interesting. So I'm going to read that again. While you hold great riches within the depths of your being, these gifts will wither and decay if you continue to hide them and keep yourself in isolation. You must connect with others, dear one. Well, I keep trying. I keep asking folks to show up and have conversations. Oh my God, this is an entire repeat. I'm now seeing the card for now. Okay, wait a minute. Mark, if you're still here, you've been here this whole time. You saw me. You saw me shuffle these cards. I know that we had this one just the other day. Discover your superpower, card number 33. I don't know about this one, the breaking. Holy mother of goodness, what in the world is going on here? Okay, wow. Okay, there has to be something here. I was reading this part about that I must connect, well, we all must connect with others. You must stand in the power of your vulnerability and trust that the treasures you have to share will be well received. Well, whether they are or they aren't is not my business. I just do and let the cookies fall where they may, because they will. The more willing you are to share your gifts, the faster and greater those gifts will grow and multiply, increasing their vitality and breathing new life into you and into everyone you touch. Well, I do feel like that's a true statement right there. Be courageous now, knowing that others' appreciation for the beauty you have to share will gift you a greater appreciation for all that you were once inspired to keep hidden. Your bravery will allow others the chance to reflect the inner beauty you carry and will lift you to greater levels of self acceptance. Well, the truth of the matter for that is, as I've said many times, I feel like of that I'm the first on the dance floor. That was actually even said to me by a friend of mine, that that was why I was invited to parties, because I was a great icebreaker to help people feel more comfortable and at ease. Um, and part of that is, again, having been 490 pounds, you better get comfortable. There's no place to hide with that, Mark said. And it may tie into that energy I saw around the base of your brain. Yes, okay, so we do have to have that conversation. I really want it to be in Zoom. If you are at all up for that, let's do that. I can't do it right after this because I have some things I have to do today. Um, but once I return home, if you're free today, or let's make a plan for tomorrow, let's do that. But I would love to do it in Zoom if you would please allow that to happen in that fashion, Mark. Because I'm not avoiding you, and I did not want you to think that at all. Okay, so what is so interesting to me is, like I said, these cards, at least this one, I know the hero's journey dream oracle, that was just the other day as well. And I did not realize that until partway through this, the which I also know we had, because this deck is not very, um, it is totally new to me. I haven't, while I have been using it once a day, it's not like I've read all the cards in there. So I know this one has come out probably last week sometime. And I just don't know if these were all together, or if if I go back and find that they were not in another reading, then I'm going to know it's a time slip, because I know for a fact, especially with the death card, because something very interesting happened with that one. My housemate, and that conversation that I had with my housemate and Barbara, where we were talking about AI. It was the next day. There, she was doing a reading for Lisa. She was guided to pull some cards, and here I was doing a live, and the same card came out. And it was that death card from the Fairies Oracle. So I know that one did. And I really feel with all of me that this one did as well. Discover your superpower. Access 100% of your mojo. Because I remember saying that about the title of this being Morning Mojo. There's a quote here from Jacob Nordby, whoever that is. If you do know who that is, put it in the comments for me. I would love to know. If you ever meet someone brave and powerful enough to walk with you directly through your most unconscious wounds and shadow caves, someone with the stupefying courage to see through the chinks of your armor and then help you take it off, love them. And boy, I could not echo that any stronger, because the truth of the matter is that is exactly what has happened for me with my housemate, Lisa Flamino Rush. Holy mother of goodness. I'm telling you, that's the truth. And apparently my computer agrees as it tinkled right there. Because they have done something for you which is impossible to do alone. They will show you the treasure you've been seeking all your life. Now, isn't that interesting? Somebody is trying to call me. It says potential spam. No, I'm going to decline you. Wow. Okay. They will show you the treasure you've been seeking all your life, and they can do this because they aren't afraid of your fear. Well, the truth of the matter is, and I'm so grateful too, because boy, I'm telling you, the message of this card: you are infinitely powerful, wise, strong, and blessed. Yet You've only taken conscious ownership of about 5% of your natural inheritance. Without realizing it, most of your power has been relegated to your shadow cave. As a that's part of my human design. Something about caves, and I really don't know much about human design, but that's in there. Without realizing it, most of your power has been relegated to your shadow cave. As a kid, you may have been shunned, teased, ostracized, or spanked. How about all of the above? For demonstrating certain behaviors or feelings. Consequently, you labeled those characteristics as bad and deleted them from your playlist. Not in my case, not totally at any rate. But nothing is ever truly deleted. It's just disowned for a while. Well, that's true. Completely true. Uh, and relegated to a cloud or cave. Eventually, these characteristics will break into dreams or enter our waking life at inopportune moments. At its core, every shadow is beautiful and useful. In fact, within your biggest, scariest shadow is your superpower in disguise. And you know what? Astrology talks about that as well. Once a being realizes what their biggest and most powerful wound is, by working through all of that, it then becomes the greatest gift. And I know that that's true. And that's echoed in astrology with the whole Chiron being the wounded healer kind of thing. Um, Consequently, oh yeah, I already read that part. Nothing is ever truly deleted. It's just disowned for a while and relegated to a cloud or cave. At its core, every shadow is beautiful and useful. In fact, within your biggest, scariest shadow is your superpower in disguise. When anything that has been cut off escapes from your shadow cave, it will lunge forth with fangs if given the chance. Yes, because I remember even stopping right here and telling folks that if you've not seen the animated movie called Soul, and how these shadow beings are chasing people around, that is exactly what that's about, this right here. So I know this card has been in the last little bit. um, Instead of trying to outrun it, quicken your transformation by standing still and exploring what is worthy and noble about these aspects of yourself. That's partly, I think, behind what when I talk about being a different perspective, right? If you're in the midst of something and you don't feel all that joyous, or maybe something's triggered, right? Um, there's always more than one way, one perception to look at it. And I feel like that's what this is speaking to right here. If you can't do this on your own, invite an ally to hold your hand as you discover the beauty and usefulness of your shadow. As you do this, you will find your shadow is no longer a shadow, but mojo that you can now empower your quest, that can now empower your quest. Yeah, because I even said then, I'm open for that for anyone. If folks hadn't stepped forward for me, like Lisa, like Crystal, and worked with me and helped me learn how to face and embrace what triggered me, I wouldn't be doing any of this. And I'm ever so grateful. So that's why I say to anyone, if you are having trouble figuring something out, we can work on that. And again, I don't charge anything because that's not what any of this is supposed to be about. So the dream symbol of the shadow, dreams of the shadow feature monsters, frightening scenarios, or people who rub you the wrong way. Even though these dreams trigger fear or anxiety in you, they come in service to your health, healing, and wholeness. Your dreams have a no shadow left behind policy and are helping you love all of you so that you can have a whole souled experience. And I feel like that's true. That's one of the reasons why I got so sick and laid on my deathbed for more than 10 years, in and out of the hospital, 3 months in the hospital at one stretch, because I was running as fast as I could run from myself, from my shadows. And uh, once one turns and faces and embraces and asks to be shown, what is this about? And how can I love that portion of me into wholeness? Even because, trust me, I have been one whamma jamma in my life. Um, and I've been the hardest upon myself. Well, no wonder I was hard on everybody else, right? And how is Lisa doing? She's doing pretty well, and we still don't have uh, we still don't have a diagnosis. Hoping that we're going to get somewhere with that this week. Still lots and lots of tests going on, and but at the moment, nothing life threatening seems to be going on, which is good. She still gets really tired, and you know, and all of that. So um, hopefully there will be more to come. Like I said, she does want to come and share all of what she has experienced because trust me, it is quite the story. So this is called The Breaking. Now, if you've not heard of Zingdad, if you have not heard of the entity he channels called Adamu, um, I did not know when I first recorded it, I didn't even know it was his. I didn't know anything about it. On Conscious Conversation Central, I found something on Facebook that was not attributed to him, and I recorded the Starseed contract. And it is on Sassy Seer Sheila, and it is also on New Light Streaming Love. And if you haven't seen that or heard that or read it on his site, because he wrote it some time ago, and I first recorded it in, I want to say 2018, 2019, something like that. And so when the channel was taken down, I did a little bit more digging to try to find it again so that I could re-record it, and I found out that it was his, and it was freely on his site, so you can go and read it in your own words, if or in your own voice if you want to. But if you just want to hear it, you can find my video about that. And because there's a portion of the Starseed contract that's called the shattering. And every time, so when I see this, it makes me think of that for some reason that came to share. So um, I'll try later on today if I can remember to find it and put it in the show more section of this video so that it will be easily found if you're seeing this on Sassy C or Sheila later. But it is still there. All you have to do is go to the channel and search for the Starseed contract and you'll find it. Go to the channel and search the channel. Don't search just the internet because or just YouTube because you have a hard time finding any of my stuff because it's not in the algorithms. Most folks don't take the time to like my videos. I keep forgetting to say that. And so it doesn't get in the algorithms. And, there's, see, on New Light Streaming Love, we only have 141 subscribers. Uh, there's not a lot of views. So it's just not in the algorithms. Geez, I went looking for my channel once, searching it, and I could never find it. Yeah, I had to go there, the old fashioned way. So, at any rate, this is called the breaking. And it too, numerologically, is an 11, which is a master number. Vanessa says sometimes without a diagnosis, it can make illness more difficult to cope with. Well, to be honest with you, she is being shown that there's a lot of this that has to do with these final things within her that are coming up to be dealt with. And she has been given some guidance in regards to all of that, which is why it's such a big story, which is why there will be a book written about this entire episode of her life. And she has agreed to come and have conversations with me about it to share with all of you. So, but you're right. It makes it a little bit more difficult, of course. So, you are breaking apart. You might not understand it at all. There is not so much to be understood, but the simplicity doesn't mean it is easy to endure. Boy, isn't that interesting, because that's kind of exactly what it is, right? You may worry that you are going too far, that you may not recover or ever come back together again. But what can you do? Can you hold back from the divine love that calls you, that lures you to becoming all that you are, to remembering your divine nature? Well, you could try, but for what purpose? Temporary rest before the storm at best. And see, I'll be honest with you. This is one of those cases where, for the most part, Lisa has pre-waved everything. I've watched this, I've observed where she pre-waves a particular energy, and then it will happen for me days, sometimes weeks, sometimes months after the fact. I now see where, in many ways, that entire thing that I went through was a pre-wave in and of itself. And so that is what this is speaking to here for me, from my perspective, for what I went through. Let yourself be brokenhearted by the divine so that you can become your truth, become all that you are meant to be. It is better to have the heart broken so that it grows than to be brokenhearted by thinking that you must protect yourself from love. This oracle brings compassionate guidance that no matter what sadness or anger, despair, or frustration you may feel, you are being pulled apart not by dark forces, but by the loving embrace of the divine as it strips you of that which would keep you from your divine realization. Let go and break. It is going to be the making of you. And then there's this little poem here, Love. Love is a special closeness that sings from the heart, that warms my days and nights, that feels good, that makes me smile, that makes me glad to be alive. Wow. I do feel with all of me that each one of us go through things in complete, it's the same thing, but in a completely unique way to us. That has to do with all that we've experienced before, and that especially now, it feels to me like, you know, we are at and I know that a lot of folks have said this about being on the precipice, and we're right there, but it's been eons in the making, and it will be different for each, and the experience of it will be different for each. Wow. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this reading today. I would like to say that I'll be here this evening, but I'm not sure about that. I did say, and I'm going to keep to this, that the next live intuitive hangout session I do will be live on Sassy Seer Sheila, because I haven't given my standalone, my channel, enough love of late. And so if you're not subscribed over there and you don't have notifications marked over there, I highly recommend that you do if you want to participate, especially in my next live intuitive hangout session. So, because that's where that one will be. And I would like for it to be this evening if the energy holds and I can muster it. So, and as for some of this other that came out in this reading, if you feel drawn to have a conversation with me, contact me, consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. Put in the subject conversation. It is my dearest desire that we are able to record it and share, but it is no longer a requirement. But all I can share with you is this. Those kinds of conversations are so helpful to others who feel lost. And it's just a conversation. And you don't even have to be on camera. I used to want everybody to show up as their own authentic self and be on camera. I've relaxed that now. That's not for me to judge. I just want everybody to feel comfortable, right? And if a being doesn't feel comfortable, that's fine. I no longer, and it's not even got to be recorded either. It's just because at least the conversation is being held. At least it is now in the field and it's available to all. It's just that for me, because I was contacted by so many beings when we were having these conversations 2 and 3 times a week and putting them out 2 and 3. There were over 1,500 conversations on Conversation Central, on Conscious Conversation Central at the time they took it down, which is another reason I feel like they took it down, because it was helpful to folks. And I wasn't trying to sell anybody anything. So there's that too. So at any rate, that's all I have to say for today. I hope that this was helpful for you. If you are seeing this as a recording on Sassy Seer Sheila, know that that is where the next intuitive hangout session would be. And I'm going to bring this out because today is April 1st, and I do want to begin my book club for this set of books. What this is a Celestine Prophecy. I've not read the book. I saw the movie. And I already know that books are always so much better than the movies. And I cannot hardly wait to actually dive into this. And there's more than one book. And so this book club will go through all of these books. And the whole premise behind this is gathering for 2 hours once a week and reading it together, stopping and discussing if we feel led to. And I cannot tell you how enjoyable it has been to be a part of a group who does this, because Lisa and I have already, we've got another group going right now, where right now we're reading the Kabbalion together. But that group has read, we read the Jeshua channelings, we read A Soul's Journey, we read all the works of Florence Scovel Shinn together. And it's been so helpful and so beautiful. And so this is going to be a whole new uh, book club, and no time or day has been decided because I still haven't heard from anybody. Not one being has said that they want to participate in this. Okay, so if not, I guess I'll just do it on my own. Which is, like I said, some of these cards say that people will show up, but they're not. So I don't understand. I get a little like, okay, what? Why? What's that about? At least Crystal has said that she's going to partake in that group. So I'm really glad that we'll have, and I know Lisa wants to. So it'll be, if nothing else, me, Lisa, and Crystal. So until we meet again, until you guys decide you want to show up and come hang out again, I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. There is always more than one way to see something. And yep, and it's just a matter of perspective and your perception of your perspective. So until we meet again, mwah, be well, my friends. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Oh, and I have no April 1st, April Fools, anything to do. So there you have it. Maybe that's what this whole reading has been about. Hmm. I don't know, but if you can think of any reason why I am feeling like this has been almost a repeat of a lot of the same cards, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Whether you're watching it live now or you're seeing it on Sassy C or Sheila later. Be well, friends.